Succession Committee and a vetting team member for the GBC Nominations Committee. Alongside her spiritual service, she is commissioned notary public in the state of California and an active real estate investor, managing a portfolio of investment properties through her real estate company. Her professional journey and insights have been recognized through features in CEO Weekly and Business Times. So, materially and spiritually, both. I don't think we could have any better speaker than this for today. Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking out time and allowing us to associate with you, and thank you for accepting our invitation and blessing us with your association today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And thank you for the gift of your time, which is one of the most valuable assets each and every one of us has. Just to begin, let's together, if you like, we can chant the Mangalacharan prayers and seek for the blessings of our acharyas. So whatever we may hear or we may speak will be for their pleasure and for our inspiration. So Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Again, while Priya Sundari was reading my bio, I was actually thinking that what an inappropriate, because it shows that I'm doing too many things, and that shouldn't really add the pressure on any one of us. Because the topic today certainly is that we do not focus on perfection. Rather, we focus on excellence in such a way that it's inspiring to us and it actually inspires others as well. And I can, when we have more of a conversation, we can discuss more as to these services they just came one after the other. It wasn't that I was in the mix of all of this, and I don't want any of you to walk away here feeling less than, which is absolutely not the goal of this. So I think, Priya Sundari, I'm open to any questions, but I think you have something planned as a discussion.
Yes. So, to add to your point about your qualifications and about your services, I'm so sure each one of us will take it in the mood of inspiration and encouragement to come to that platform someday, though we are at very, very different and varied, stages. For sure, we would like to have that kind of presence in our life as an inspiration. Thank you so much, Mataji. So,
Thank
just
you.
to introduce how we are going to do this today. We wanted to have as much as interaction as possible. So at the beginning, I would start with some of the questions, and we will give it about 30 or so minutes, maybe less than that. And then we would open the floor for everyone. Um, I will be asking some common generic questions, and then we can later come up with something more specific if required. So let me kick it off with my first question. I think that would kind of set the mood and also kind of act as an introduction to today's topic. So the question is like, how do we understand the difference between striving for excellence in the bhakti and falling into spiritually unhealthy perfectionism, right? Sometimes devotee appear externally steady, but internally they feel exhausted, disconnected, and unworthy. So how can Vaishnavis create an emotional, honest spiritual space instead of feeling pressured to be always appear strong?
Mhm. I think each and every one of us probably relates to this question, you know. Not only because of the change of roles that we've seen over a period of time. Initially, the roles were very defined, right? Some, even if you take like about 100 years back or 150 years back, the roles were very defined in terms of the women or the Vaishnavis were primary caregivers and the men were primary providers. The roles were very defined. However, as the time has moved on, there has been a lot of intermingling of roles. Both, it's not based on gender anymore, it's based on inclinations. You can find Vaishnavis being the primary providers, and you can find Vaishnavas being the primary caregiver. So the roles have also evolved. And however, the mindset has not really of working together has not equally evolved for everyone. And that, I think, on one aspect puts a lot of pressure on Vaishnavis because now we're trying to be feminine in terms of being caregivers, nurturers, and at the same time, we also have to put on our pants and try to be providers, right? And I think that also goes, um, I think the men also face similar challenges, but the women face them even more because they're also trying to redefine the roles as the time is progressing, as one income is not going to be enough to sustain families. And when we are moving into nuclear families, even one nurturer is not going to be enough. We had extended families. We had, grandparents and uncles and aunts that were kind of helping and supporting. So even in a nuclear family, even the husband, wife are finding it difficult to even raise one or two children. It's become so hard. Having said that, the whole structure of our 2020, the 20th century is based on being calculated, right? We're calculating our steps. Are we taking 10,000 steps every day? We're calculating the calories. We're calculating how much sleep we're getting. We're calculating what kind of grades we're getting. Everything is being calculated. And of course, it's very natural for us to bring those calculations even in our devotional life. It's insane. Then we're thinking is, okay, what's next? What's next? And what's next? And that's actually not a bad thing in one way, unless it cripples you. When I say it cripples you, is sometimes when you strive rather for perfection instead of excellence, it can be crippling. It's like, you're telling, Prabhupada gave this example several times. A centipede was dancing. You know what's a centipede? A centipede has 100 legs, right? And a centipede is dancing really beautifully and to the rhythm. And all of a sudden, someone says, you know what? I think if you move your 86th leg behind on the sixth beat and move the 50th leg on the third beat, it will look better. And now the centipede has become totally conscious of which is the 60th leg and which is the 59th leg and what is going on here. That kind of perfection is crippling. Excellence is not crippling. Perfection that stagnates your growth is crippling. I always try to remember that perfection usually says that I have to be perfect before I can be accepted. You know, we feel that if I have all these degrees and I'm perfect in every aspect, I will be accepted as a devotee, as a pure devotee, or as a great devotee. Whether we like it or not, we all strive for it, right? We all strive for being. However, we should strive to be a great devotee. We should strive to be a pure devotee, but at the same time, not really necessarily being perceived as one is so important. Yes? Not necessarily being seen as a great devotee is so important. When we take that pressure off our back and we genuinely try to practice Krishna consciousness in a way that we try our best, whether it's perfect or not. It's excellent because I put my best into it. And that takes a lot of weight off our shoulders. So, Bhakti says that I'm accepted first and I can keep growing. However, perfection says that I have to be perfect to be accepted. There's a huge difference. So we all should strive to be excellent in every aspect and in whatever way we can. But at the same time, we should try our best not to have perfection cripple us. I think I'm seeing hands coming up, but you're driving the show. So let me know what we. I cannot hear you,
Madhuri
Priya
Radhe
Sundari.
Mataji, do you have a question? Can it wait or do you want to ask it right now? I'll let you allow 1 second.
Maybe give them rights to unmute, but
Yeah,
however,
yeah,
uh, we
Ma
can.
because it's in line with this, I can maybe ask
sure,
now.
go
Is
ahead.
that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mataji, so I totally agree with the concept that you mentioned, that like I think it is very in line with it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Because the way and this is something that is very like we've heard it over and over again, but I just recently heard in one of the podcasts and it just resonated with me that, no matter if you're even trying to conquer Mount Everest, example, it's the journey that matters because once you conquered the Mount Everest, you can be there only for a small period of time. It most likely, if not always, most of the time is going to be much smaller duration of time than the time it took you for going from bottom to the top of Mount Everest, if I may say it that way. So I totally agree with that, but when it is a culture, not necessarily, I'm talking about materially and spiritually in the sense of sometimes also in the temple, not just in the external world. When it's a culture where even though you do not want to, oh, am I better than somebody else? You're not comparing yourself to somebody else. uh, most of the time, everybody else's perspective, as you just mentioned, it's not about everybody else's perspective, it's about yourself. But when sometimes you're gauged by other people, and you don't need to kind of, I know you were doing this, you don't need to do that, but you kind of know that, you have that gut feeling, you kind of sense that. How do you overcome that, or how do you set those boundaries where you say, I have given, like, maybe not in exact those words, but it's like, this is the best I can do. Maybe you expect more out of me, but I cannot, there's no possibility. I'm too stretched, too thin. How do you set those boundaries? I think it's a little bit easier in the material world, I personally feel,
Mhm.
and not so much
Yeah, I think I
otherwise.
understand what you're getting to. So, first of all, that I mean, you get the point that we're not overwhelmed with other people's perspective of us. And I understand that you get the point. We need to first understand that it's very important to be honest with ourselves, right? Because ultimately, nobody at the time of death is going to ask us, did I attend 300 Sunday feast classes? Or did I give 150 Bhagavatam classes? Or am I a Bhakti Shastri or a Bhakti Sarvabhaum or whatever am I? Nobody is going to ask me that. All of these are for the purpose for us to be in that mindset that at the time of death, I'm able to remember Krishna, right? Or forget about the time of death. Our goal is to remember, be able to remember Krishna indefinitely, always, in a loving appreciation, right? So when we first foremost think is work on ourselves, be really, really honest that is this definitely the best I can do? Is there something I can do to realign my life in such a way that I'm able to make more time for this particular aspect if I'm wanting, if I'm thinking this is encouraging me in my Krishna consciousness? Okay. First do that introspection, because you have to understand that there are certain things um, in our control, and there are certain things that are not in our control. You cannot control what I'm going to think about you.
For sure.
Absolutely. You cannot control what anyone over here is going to think about you. But you can definitely control how you experience that. How, and it sometimes requires saying that I don't care what other people think. Not out loud, but
Yes.
in your mind, you say it to yourself that I really don't care. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But on the other hand, you have to understand that we need each other. We need a community to be able to successfully flourish and nourish the Bhakti Lata creeper within our heart, right? We cannot do it alone.
Mhm.
So we can say, I don't care at one point, but on the other hand, I do care because I need the support system. And that balance, I think in Krishna consciousness, if we learn the art of balance, we can fly so high. And it's not an easy thing to do. And you have to understand that balance doesn't mean only linear action. No, it doesn't. Have you seen in the villages, sometimes you'll see those young girls walking on a rope? They're balancing act on a rope from one across the other to one
Yes.
pole to the other. If you look really carefully, they don't walk straight. They actually go like this and like this and like this and like this. So what it really means is balancing means that sometimes this portion might be a little heavier. Sometimes this portion might be a little heavier. This. However, don't go all the way to the right and
So
don't
that you
go all the way to the left because you will fall,
fall. Yes.
right? So have that balance in your life, that you have the mindset and the understanding that it actually eventually it doesn't matter what people think of me. But truly it does matter because we're social beings and we need each other. If everybody, just one person, actually, I was reading an article in from Michigan University that social rejection actually is as painful. It stimulates the neurons of the brain, the same regions as a third degree burn. If somebody's physically burnt, it stimulates the similar kind of neurons in the brain. Social rejection does the same thing. So can you imagine if we feel rejected in a community, how painful that is? It is painful, and we have to accept it. What we need to remind each other is, first of all, in your life, have some friends that can truly tell you, you know what, Mansi? I'm sorry, I'm just going to call you Mansi because I don't
Yes.
know your
No worries,
initiative.
Mataji. No worries.
That, you know what, Mansi? You're really off the hook. And you don't feel offended by that because you have that relationship with that person. We need some of these people in our life that call out to us when we're a little off the track. And then we need some people that are really doing so well and so much that you can actually look and aspire in a positive way, right? That I'd also like to do something like this. Now, there is one way of doing it that you take positive aspiration from them. And the other is that you become jealous and you try to pull them down. If you can't rise up, let me pull you down so that we're equal.
Hmm.
That's comfortable, right? So usually you'll find very successful people have very few friends. The most successful people have very few friends because everybody wants the very few relationships in our life that we will have that will want us to be better than ourselves. There's very few relationships in our life who will want that this person becomes better than me. Very few. Like literally, probably you can even count, you don't even need all the 10 fingers to count.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that balance of understanding and that maturity. And it also comes from deep prayer. You pray to Krishna that give me that intelligence that I can maneuver my life in a way with positivity that I understand that I'm in my stretch zone. When I say I'm in my stretch zone, means that I'm striving to be better, but I'm not breaking. Yes, because growth happens in the stretch zone. It
Yes.
doesn't happen when you're
In the
too
comfort zone.
comfortable, and it doesn't happen when you're too ready to be falling apart, right? So remembering that's the secret of success. It is the secret of success. So there could be times where you can say, I don't care, and that's okay. And there should be times where you say, I do care. How can I be better? And that balance will get us through. Does that help?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank Krishna. So nice to see you, Subhadra.
Thank you, Mataji. Does
Yeah.
anyone have any other questions along the same lines or sure,
Subhadra
let
always has a
me.
question.
Yes. So, as we as females, we have this nature of taking care, this motherly nature, and in this, we do forget about our own self care and our own emotional needs, and we do depend on others to take care of our emotional needs. So, how can we first prioritize our own self by not feeling this feeling of guiltiness that we're just not uh, we're just very greedy or selfish that we're taking care of ourselves. So how we can keep this mentality out and how we can take care some practical steps that we can do to prioritize our own self first and take care of ourselves.
Yeah. Um, you know, the first aspect is definitely that we understand that even taking care of others can be nourishing for us, right? Sometimes it's like I was, my children are older. Let me give you that as an example. My children are much older. And they're good cooks. They're 21 and 18, and they're good cooks, and they really don't need me to cook, clean, do
Mhm.
things. But off and on, when they'll come home and say, Mama, can you really make this? It really makes me happy. I'm cooking anyway. And sometimes they'll say, oh, I can manage by myself. And I know they can manage by themselves. But sometimes when they come home and they tell me, Mama, I really want to eat your palak paneer, or I really want it brings a sense of um, enthusiasm in me. It just uplifts my own spirit. Um, so nurturing other people can also sometimes nurture our hearts and inspire us. That's one aspect. But the second aspect is that if my son came and said, Mama, can you make palak paneer? But I've had such a rough day and I've not had any sleep, and I'm hungry and starving myself, and I have a headache, and I have so many other things to do. What is my feeling going to be? I'm going to be like, maybe not palak paneer, just eat something, maybe just make a sandwich for yourself or do something like that, right? Because I have not been able to nourish myself. And I see someone is saying that uh, you can't hear. Can everybody hear
Uh,
me?
yes, yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Anyone
Okay,
is
maybe
having
it's
any
just,
issues?
I just saw a little
Maybe, yeah.
in the chat. Maybe it's a setting on her part. Maybe somebody can work privately with Patita Pavani people. So Subhadra, having that balance, I know you thrive on caring for people. You like it. You like it, and that nourishes you. But you also need to make sure that you are cared for. Yes. When I say you are cared for, if there's nobody caring for you, then you take the responsibility of caring for yourself. Get your rest, set your timings. And I always like to say that have good boundaries, don't have walls. Don't have walls, because when you have walls, people will not be able to um, approach you, or people will not be able to connect with you. But have your boundaries, set your time. Like, okay, this is my time for my japa. I don't take the phone. I don't take any responsibilities. I don't take my services. This is my priority. And maybe once or twice people might feel a little offended, but they will get used to it. They'll understand that this is my time for doing a particular activity, and they'll respect it. Unless there's an emergency, of course, you'll cave in, right? You'll give in and you'll do something. But prioritizing your time, and also understanding that by helping and by taking care of other people, we also get nourished. But same time, we have to take the time for caring for our body, caring for our mind, and caring for our soul. How do you care for the soul? It's by chanting your rounds, by listening to Krishna Katha, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We care for our soul like that. How do you care for your body? By eating right, sleeping well. And for your mind, practicing some sort of gratitude, some sort of appreciation in our life, writing prayers to Krishna. This is how you care for your mind. So when you start caring for your body, mind, and soul, and then you give with not the expectation of receiving, because that's going to be frustrating. Well, I'm caring for everybody and nobody is caring for me. Oh my God. Then that starts to create a vacuum within our hearts, right? If it comes, when we start, oftentimes it is said in marriage counseling, they say that if you want to attract a particular kind of partner, then you become that partner. If you want to attract a caring partner, then you start caring. If you want to attract a really good looking partner, then you work on your looks. So it's the law of attraction. you know. So if you naturally, you don't demand the care, but by caring for others, you will experience that care in your life without expectations. If you have expectations, you will certainly be frustrated because this world is designed to frustrate us. That's Krishna's goal of designing this world. So we get frustrated and we try to find a way back to him. Right? If there was no frustration, we'd all want to just stay here. Just like Indra was so happy being a pig and eating stool, he had become accustomed. And Lord Brahma is telling him, no, Baba, you're the king of the heavenly planet. Somaras and the Apsaras are waiting for you there. And he's like, no, no, I'm happy here with my family. And I'm happy eating stool. That's all of our situation. So give up on the expectations, set your boundaries, take care of your health, and also know that by giving, you're receiving. We get so much joy in serving. We like to serve. It is the inherent nature of the soul, serving. Right? Your Subhadra Devi Dasi. Dasi means to serve. Does that help, Subhadra? Yes.
Very well explained. Let me unmute you if you want to.
Yes, this is perfect. I mean, perfect. I'm gonna follow this. Thank you very much.
Right. Very fun.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Mataji. You explained it really well. You gave us so many perspectives. Next question was like, the younger generations, like this generation is growing in amidst of the social media achievement culture and constant comparison, right? So what unique spiritual challenges those do these contemporary Vaishnavis face today that perhaps earlier generation did not, and how do they manage them?
I would first like to really appreciate the advantage that our younger generation has. We focus a lot on the disadvantages of social media, but I think the younger generation has a lot of advantages also because of social media, because of, the web. When I look at 12-year-olds of uh, comparing them to what I was at a 12-year-old, I was like, I pretty much was like a fish in a well, right? But for our younger generation now, the world has shrunk. The world has shrunk. They're so well informed. They are so, they're upbeat on everything that's happening everywhere. That actually puts them to an advantage if they know how to manage it, right? The only difficulty I see is them not understanding that social media is not the whole picture. It's not the full picture, right? Now, if I'm sitting here dressed in my sari with my lights on and a decent background and my room cleared out, do you think it's always like that? No, it's not. I can tell you for sure. As soon as I get over there, I'm going to take off and put on something more comfortable, maybe my pajamas or something like that. Yeah, it's always like that. Sometimes I have cups of tea lying here on my nightstand. I moved them so that they're not seen in the picture to look perfect right now. But social media is the best version of ourselves over there. You're not seeing the struggles or but I'm telling you that the younger generation are now really connecting with people that share authentic knowledge. They're also becoming tired of plasticity. They're becoming tired of it. They're talking about going natural. I'm seeing a lot of people now talking about things like that. Even in the younger generation, they're realizing that they're very, very intelligent and smart. The Gen Zs, and compared to, I feel, we had We had our advantages, but I think the younger generation definitely has an advantage, but they just need to learn how to manage it. They need to understand that everything that they see on the web or social media is curated in such a way to get a particular kind of response from them. And it should be our choice to take what we want and to leave the rest. We have to really become like Paramhamsas, you know, literally take the milk from the water. So it's a mix. It's got its advantages, it's got disadvantages. But at the same time, just imagine right now, you can tune into any lecture from any part of the world and listen to it. Our acharyas, for one manuscript of a book written on a palm leaf, had to travel maybe 5,000 kilometers by foot. Right? Look at the advantages we have. Right now, we have, on my phone, I have Vedabase. On my laptop, I have Vedabase. I have recitation of the Bhagavatam going on in my car. We have so much advantages. And look at that aspect as well. It's very important to know our advantages, because I like to give this as an example that if you start looking for, look for red in the room. Like, I've got a little red here. My sari's got red. So if we look for red, did you look at anything green while looking for red? No, you were focused on red. So it's a focus of, it's a shift of your focus, basically. I think the younger generation needs to realize that it does have disadvantages, but look for the advantages. There are advantages on social media. There's a lot of devotees they can connect with. There's a lot of inspiration that they can gain. However, how to manage it with time, because everyone has experience of once you go on social media, your time just flies by. Does it for everyone, or it's just me?
That is true.
For everyone, right? You somehow went on social media, or you went on your phone to just check a message. And all of a sudden, you're in this world of messages, and then one message leads to another reel and a video, and you don't know what happened. And half an hour later, you haven't even responded to the message. Does it happen to everyone, or just it's me? Yeah. So managing that time is crucial. But at the same time, a younger generation, to summarize, needs to understand that everything that they see is not true. And even if it's true, it's not the complete picture. It's true that I'm, sitting neat and clean and my room looks kind of neat and clean, but it's not always like that. Of course, I'm going to put my best show. It's a show world. So let's not become so overwhelmed with the show world. Take what we need and just forget about the rest. And it's a practice. We have to keep practicing and keep reminding ourselves about that. It's not that today I'm going to say it and tomorrow you're all going to be, enlightened souls. No, it's not going to happen like that. It's a practice. We keep reminding ourselves that, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you see on social media. I am on my journey, and they could be on step 60th and I'm on 16th, and that's okay. Does that answer your question in any way, Priya Sundari?
Yes, it does. Thank you for that insightful answer. Before we move, or I open the floor for the audience again, just wanted to inform that, if anyone wants to, any of your friends and anybody having trouble joining this link, please suggest them to join by using the meeting passcode and the ID. And also, this is recording, like, basically live on YouTube, so it will be available on YouTube as well for your future references. So, does anyone have any questions related to what we just discussed, or we can move on?
Or even any other question. I'm happy
Yeah.
to be able to um, try to answer anything that you have.
Okay. So you can post your questions to in the group chat as well as one-on-one, whatever you feel like comfortable with. So I'll. Oh, Madhvi Shakti Mataji has a question. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. I unmuted you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji,
Hare
it's not
Krishna.
exactly the same timeline the question is, but as a Vaishnavis, as we all know, we are mothers, we work, we professional, personal, our sadhana, everything, temple services, everything is there. So, how to encourage each other to keep our health on a track?
Yes.
Many times we see each other, for example, I mean, my from giving example is not happening with me, but just the example, I got a blood test requisition to go to physician to check it up, but we are delaying months and months. And so is everything is there, as Prabhupada said, this body also given by Krishna. If the body is, if we keep it on a track, then we can serve devotee, serve family, being a mother, being a like daughter, whatever. So
Mhm.
how do we encourage each other?
Very good question, Mataji.
Mhm.
Prabhupada said that your health comes first, then comes your chanting. I'm not saying this. Prabhupada said that. And in fact, um, if you ask anyone who has been sick, you can say that I had this problem, or this one didn't talk to me, and that one didn't talk to me, or this one didn't invite me for their birthday party, or that didn't happen. Or, we can have a zillion problems with each other. But once your health is spoiled, then you have only one problem: health. Yes. Because health is so important and crucial that everything else becomes insignificant. All our fights and our little bickering just disappears, because if your health is a problem, then you have only one problem, which is health. So prioritizing your health, and I'm actually talking to myself because I fall into the same category, we if we cannot encourage ourselves alone, then try to find some like-minded devotees that can keep each other on track, that can prioritize. Just look at Prabhupada. Prabhupada was running a worldwide movement. Yes, he was an old man. He had so many books to translate. He had so many temples to manage. He was a guru. And he falls sick. And the doctor comes over there. And the doctor says, this old man is chanting too much. He needs to move around. So the disciples over there felt very offended. She said, how can you say like that? And what did Prabhupada say? No, he's saying the truth. I need to go on regular walks. I'm sitting and doing everything. That's how the morning walks were started for Prabhupada. We have so many beautiful conversations in the morning walks. But how was that started? Because of that doctor. Prabhupada took that doctor's advice and started a morning walk. Why can't we take that as an example? We can take that as an example. There's several things. Like I can tell you, we have weekly programs here. If it's on a weekday specifically, and it's an evening program, we have prasadam before we have the lecture. So, like on Wednesday evenings, we have Bhagavatam class here in ISKCON of Sacramento. And we know devotees are coming from work. They're hungry. So either they're going to munch on something which is unhealthy, and then eat dinner very late, like 9:30, 10, and they've been hungry since, they probably had in the morning meal, or many devotees are eating twice. So we have our dinner at 6. We start our class at 7, and we finish the program by 9. And just making a little some changes within our lifestyle or within our culture as devotees, we can do that. And it's very, very helpful. Or if you can't make a change at the level of the temple, you make the change personally in your life. That, okay, for Sunday feast, okay, once a week, I can take a late dinner. That's fine. I can accept that. But if there's a program throughout the week, then no, I'm going to eat something and then I'm going to go. Whatever works for you, but we need to set some standards for ourselves. We need to set some standards of taking care of ourselves. Maybe, twice a week, we do a walking japa. And maybe we do yoga together. Like even to give an example of ISKCON Sacramento, we do yoga, all the Vaishnavis together every Sunday evening. We just do a Zoom call and we do yoga together. So at least once a week, we know everybody's getting some yoga in there or something. Whatever works, find ways and means to be active, to be healthy, to be responsible for each other in a way, and find those groups. Like I've been trying to lose weight for God knows when, like for years maybe, but at the same time, I have 3 or 4 people that are also trying to lose weight constantly. So we keep each other. Okay, we go beyond a certain threshold. They're like, GovindPriya, next time they see me in the temple, you better not have sweets in your plate. We're keeping each other accountable. And it's very important. So you have to figure out what really works in your schedule, but keep aside some time. And that balance, like we started this discussion, keep some time for the body, keep some time for the soul, and keep some time for the mind. And also stillness of the mind. Sometimes I have this tendency that, you're constantly doing so much, you don't take the time to just not do anything. That's very important. It's like when have you seen shooting an arrow? Usually when they shoot an arrow, they have to pull back. It may seem like it's illogical. You're supposed to move forward. Why are you moving back? No, you move back so that you are recharged to launch forward. And that happens with us too. We need to pull back and take rest to be able to launch forward. Yes, it's extremely crucial. So moments of silence is extremely important, where we can really think, reflect on the direction of where we want to go with our life, with our devotional life, with our family life, with our health life, with our relationships. I can tell you, my husband and I have been married 25 years, but every week we have a special dinner, just he and I. Because he travels quite a bit, I travel quite a bit. We have different services. But if we're home that week, the two of us, I put candles, I remove nice crockery, we sit and have a nice dinner together. Why not? Why not improve the relationships we already have and build that? And that really, it doesn't take a lot. We might feel it's a lot. It's just you assign that day. Like we do it every Thursday night. If I'm not there, weekends are crazy for us. I'm not here or he's not here or something. So we do it on a weekday night. But every Thursday night, whether the kids are home or not, my husband and I, we always take dinner together. We'll just cook. Not that I'm making the rotis or he's doing something. No, we both sit together. We have a nice dinner together. And we just talk. So, relationships. Cherish the relationships you have with your children, with your family members, with the devotees. Really cherish them. Take care of your health. We have to go a long road with this body. take care of your mind. If you feel that you're having difficulty with the mind, find ways, tools, talk to someone in confidence. Find those friends that can really, really support you emotionally. Let's support each other. So crucial. Sorry, maybe I give a very long answer, but I'm quite passionate about this. I saw there was a question in the chat, and I do see someone else's hand is up here as well.
Yes, we have Charu. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Mataji, such a blessing to hear from you.
Oh,
So
I'm
wonderfully
grateful to be.
explained.
Thank you
And
so much.
I had the same question like Jyotsna Mataji, she just put in the chat. Sometimes we try to put the boundaries, but it may appear walls to other people. So how to differentiate between the walls and the boundaries? Okay.
See, people are not insensitive, mostly. Let me tell you, 97% of the people are well wishers and good people. There are 3% that are you need to beware of. But we punish the 97% of the people because of these 3%. So mostly people are genuine. So when I say, like to give you an example, I get a lot of people trying to write to me, or they'll message me about their problems or their things. And I'm thinking, why will they message me? I met them once in a program. Why would you message me? Why it happens? And I've noticed that, and I learned this from in a communications class. I actually learned it in a communications class where they said that be fully present when you're speaking with someone. What that really means is that, okay, there's 100 people in the program that you're meeting, but if you're having a one-on-one conversation with someone, really extend yourself and be present, right? When I'm talking to one person, really be present. Nothing is more painful than when we chant in Shikshashtakam, Ashli Shevad Padaratam Pinashtama, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying the most painful, even if treat me like I don't exist for you. That's one of the most painful things for a human being. Like you can have even envy is a relationship, right? Appreciation is a relationship, envy is also a relationship, but if I don't exist for you, that's like total void. So when you're speaking with anyone, you're associating with anyone, you give your 100%, even if it's for 2 minutes. It's very, very powerful. Even if it's for 2 minutes and you give your 100% to that person, it touches them deeply. Yes. So at that point, they will not see the walls. And relationships is always like a bank account. You can make deficits. We end up making deficits in our relationship. Like, okay, sometimes it could be as simple as, saying Hare Krishna when you go to the temple. Many a times we don't even take the time to greet each other nicely, like, really acknowledging. I remember there was a devotee that I had my little kids in my hand and I was walking through the temple. And then she said, "Oh, GovindPriya, you do so much service and you're, with the 2 kids." And I'm like, no, no, no. I wasn't even really like, I was trying to be humble. And I'm saying, no, no, no. And then she just held me by the shoulder and she said, "I want you to listen." And she said, "I really appreciate how much effort you're taking to take care of your children. I always see them well dressed. I see you bring a little snack for them during Bhagavatam class. They have some activities to do." And she started to describe that to me. And I felt so heard, understood, and appreciated on another level. You know, Because when it was superficial, oh, you do so nice and this and that, it was like literally just flying over my head. It wasn't really touching me. But when she really like held me and she said, I want you to hear this. And we don't take enough time to do this with devotees. We just don't. If you make it a habit that every Sunday I will find at least 2 devotees to do this with, genuinely appreciate something that you like about them. And trust me, you will find it. And you take the time, you will see how your relationships switch. Then, even if in one moment you are unable to give them time, they will understand. Because you've already put in so much bank balance. Don't wait. How many times have you called any devotee without having any service needed from them? How many times do we call? Like it's become rare. I've started to now put a list. I caught myself doing that as well, that only when I have service, I'm calling them. I started to catch myself and I said, I need to call these devotees just to talk. How are you doing? And when I tried to do that, they answered my phone, yes, Mataji, what can I do for you? And I'm like, no, I just called to check in. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad, Govindapriya. But it's a fact. We all are doing this. We only call them when we need something. We only call them when there's a need for service. And there is no downtime when we call anyone to just talk. How are you doing? I heard your in-laws were going to come. Do you need any help? Can I support you with something? Or anything that's happening in their life. Just small talk. We don't do that. If we start to do that on a regular basis, then one time when we're really up to the neck and we don't have time, or we're rude with them, or we say something unpleasant, they'll just let it slide because we've invested so much in the bank. So we don't go into negative balance with them. But usually we make so many withdrawals and put in no deposits. Then we're wondering what happened all of a sudden. She just freaked out for a small little thing. No, it's not that small little thing that she freaked out about. It's that build up that she freaked out about. Does that make sense? I forget whose question it was.
Charu Mataji.
Charu, do you have any comments? So does that make sense to you?
You can unmute yourself, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for a wonderful explanation. That is really great.
So
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
That's a lot to think about and lot to
A lot to think
meditate
about.
on.
True.
Yeah, the idea was not to have you to do things a lot more. The idea was that we just need to realign small things in our life. Really, it's not about the big things. We usually look at so many big things we need to achieve and do. But trust me, it's the small things that we do that makes all the difference. And the big things just happen automatically. And I'm telling you, because I've tried it. It works. It works. You try to do the small things, and the big things are already taken care of. They automatically get taken care of.
Every drop matters.
Yes, absolutely. It does. So anyone else has a question or comment or something that you want to share? It's not doesn't have to be a one-way street. I'm happy to hear and learn and
Please raise your hands or drop a comment or something if you're not able to unmute yourself. Let me allow everyone to unmute. Give me a moment.
yeah, please just allow them to unmute.
Yes, Madhuri Radhe. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So I just wanted to thank you. First of all, thank you very much a lot of points to ponder around. But I just wanted to add one small add, or maybe, something that I can lately that I have been relating towards. And we hear this also a lot, but I think it just goes, oh yeah, we've heard it. It's okay. There's nothing new. But as they say, when if you listen to any of the flight instructions, you put the mask on first for yourself and then help others, including the kids. I think if we
Mhm.
don't empower ourselves the ways we've or nurture ourselves the way we have just discussed, spiritually, mentally, and health wise, with all these different questions that we have, and socially as well that we have discussed. I think if we don't do that first, rest everything will probably fail and very easily, if I may say so, as we have discussed. So thank you very much, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, even if it doesn't fail instantly, eventually it will.
Yes.
Over a period of time, it will fail because it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable lifestyle. It's not a sustainable for relationships. It's not sustainable. So slowly and gradually, we need to add elements in our life that make it more sustainable and make it more joyous. We already have, we already have these relationships. We already have all these things. We just have to acknowledge and appreciate and cherish them. Someone else has their hand up from what
Karthi,
I see.
Karthi Maj.
Hare
Go ahead,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
really very blessed and happy that I'm attending this session today. There's a question which keeps running in my mind very often, but I think it's not totally related to the topic that we're talking here.
Sure.
But I keep reading and hearing that association is very, very important for anyone's spiritual growth. But when a person is not very social or an introvert, how do we actually take this association? Like it's being a little like a gateway for interacting with devotees and to empower yourself. So how do such a person handle that?
Sure. Sure. So, first of all, we have to remember association is not always only physical association. Association that is most powerful is the association through the mind. It's one of the most powerful, much more powerful than physical association. Why? So, to give you an example, that if you're constantly thinking of something, you're associating with it, right? And like if I say that, and who understands, association through the mind better than devotees? Because we have so much emphasis on Vani than Vapu, right? Vani is through the words of the Guru, and Vapu is the physical body of the Guru. The beautiful pastime of Rukmini. Rukmini Devi had never seen Krishna, never seen Krishna. She only heard about Krishna from the Brahmana. She heard about the beauty of Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's life, his valor, his looks, his different roles, his association. And simply by hearing and associating with Krishna through the words of the Brahmana, she developed intense attachment. When Prabhupada talks about association with the devotees, he means association through ears. When you give your ears or your oral reception to someone, that's one of the most powerful ways of associating with anyone, right? And just like we have been associating with each other right now, we probably, I don't know if we met in person or we'll ever meet in person, but at the same time, just by hearing, just think about, we were talking about social media earlier. Just think about all of these, influencers that you see, you feel like you know them, isn't it? It's like you know so much about them, you feel like you know them in true. oh, this one's writing a book, or this is what he likes, this is how he portrays, or this is how this one does. All these, because you think you know them, because you're hearing so much about them and seeing so much about them, we feel like we know them. Similarly, the whole goal of associating with devotees is to hear about Krishna, because devotees talk about Krishna. And that is why Prabhupada emphasized that for spiritual growth, and if you don't have the opportunity to be in physical association of devotees, you can be, and with today's day and age, we talked about the advantages we have. But if you have the opportunity to be in physical association of devotees, then why not try it? Even if you're an introvert, you'll find some introvert friends there. You'll find some other introvert friends there. And you'll find some extrovert friends there. And that creates such a healthy balance because, some people like to talk and some people like to listen. And that's how it works. Like in my house, my husband is a man of few words. It's only when he speaks Srimad Bhagavatam and CC that you hear him. In the house, I'm the one that talks all the time. So it's a perfect balance. And that happens in friendships too. It's always said, the opposites kind of attract each other. So you might find some really extroverted friend, and your invertedness will kind of rub off on them, and their extrovertedness will rub off on you. And that creates a nice balance. You just have to be able to try to be in that stretch zone, be in an uncomfortable situation. And this morning I had another class that I was doing with a group of devotees, and I was telling them that I remember the first time I gave Srimad Bhagavatam class. So people tell me, oh, you roar from the Vyasasana, you really you speak so well. Always like this? Absolutely not. I remember my first Bhagavatam class. We drove from home to the temple, and I was supposed to give Bhagavatam class. And my stomach was hurting. I wanted to throw up. I was telling my husband, I can't remember anything. I told him, I'm not even getting down of the car. You give the class instead of me. Nobody would even know. You just give the class instead of me. And my husband, the only way I was getting down of the car is he agreed to give the class for me. And as soon as we went to the temple, I offered obeisances, he disappeared. And I had no choice but to sit on the Vyasasana. Totally uncomfortable situation. I forgot Jai Radha Madhav. I don't know what I sang. I forgot the full intermingled Jai Radha Madhav. Yeah. And it's not always like that. It's you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. It's not always going to be easy. So for an introvert, it might not be easy to be in a group of devotees and chant, but you do it anyway. You do it because then it didn't matter for me. And just that first class, and then, oh my God, they said, oh, we're going to have you on the calendar every month. And I said, are you sure? And I would try to tell everybody that don't come for class tomorrow. It's not really nothing going to happen. You might as well just stay home. That's how you started. It was so uncomfortable. But when you go through that growing pain and you make an effort that, okay, now I'm forced to do it, you might as well do it well. You're forced to do it, just do it well. And just by doing that over and over and over again, you can do it. It's no big deal. Similarly, if you're an introvert, just hang out with extroverts. It'll rub off on you. Does that help, Karthi? Was it Karthi that asked that question?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji. It makes so much sense, but
You can
being
just
in that
hang out with me.
uncomfortable situation, that makes me hold back. But
I
yes,
know, it
it's
makes me
helpful.
hold back too. And I'm sure it makes all of us hold back, but we're still going to do it. Right?
Yes,
Because it
Mataji.
doesn't matter. If we think too much that what is the world going to think about me? I'm telling you, the world has no time to think about you. I was telling my husband on the way back, I said, people are going to think I know nothing. I didn't even sing the Jai Radha Madhav. What am I doing? I spent so many years being a devotee. I was just like so saturated in my mind, like just thinking about it. And then he goes, people really don't have the time to think about it. You think you're the center of the universe? You're not. People don't have so much time to think about you. And it's no big deal. You go ahead, do the same thing again, try your best, and forget about it all. Yes?
Yes, Mataji. Thank
Which
you.
temple are
Thank you.
you connected with, Karthi?
I used to go to Brampton Temple. Now we shifted to Scarborough. So yeah, I'm in Scarborough.
Okay, I don't know what the distance is, but I'm sure you can find someone that's
The
talkative like me.
other end of GTA.
Okay.
Almost, yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
sure maybe you can start a center there if you don't have one.
Oh no,
That's a
there are
good way.
devotees, Mataji. It's just me stopping from them. Maybe I'm creating the wall. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, it can also be, um, just go in there, you'll be forced to talk. It doesn't matter. It really
Yes,
doesn't
ma'am.
matter. Just get out of that comfort zone. It's too comfortable on the couch. So we need
Yes,
to keep
Mataji.
moving. I
Keep
thought
joining
somebody
us.
else.
Yeah, keep joining us, Kathy, for our next programs. Like we do have a picnic coming up, so would love to have you there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
some
Mataji.
yeah,
She
yes.
she actually told me that she's going to advertise the picnic, and that's why I led to this.
Oh, that would be so great. Kathy, I'm counting on.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I thought there was someone else that had a
Yes,
question, and I kind of
Jignasha
just
Jignasha
Hare
Mataji had
Krishna.
her hand
Yes,
raised.
Hare
Yeah.
yes.
Krishna Jignasha. I'm
Hare
so
Krishna,
sorry.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, I have one question. How can we overcome feelings of guilt when I know our devotional practice is going on, everything, right? But right now we are mature, but when we were very young age, we take some bad decisions about the life, and now we are we are trying to be practical right now in our life, and we are doing devotional as well. But sometimes you sit in a chair and like, oh, my one decision makes my life like this and what. So how to overcome with that guilt, like due to one decision, like either it's not your not because of your problems or not from like your parents side you did the mistake happen, but that overcome of the guilt is there. And my another second question is that, like before two questions, Mataji asked, you talk about the investing your energy and time, right? And then even sometime in a reward, you are not getting anything. Instead of rewarding appreciation, you are getting so many harsh words which stay in your mind for forever. Doesn't matter, you just you are doing everything relate on Krishna will look after, karma is there, whoever do the bad karma they will face it. But then even sometime in our heart, in our mind, that word stays. So how to overcome of those things?
Right.
I have one anonymous question submitted on the similar lines. I'll just read it out. It's very similar to what Jignasha Mataji is asking. I went through a phase where I stopped everything, no chanting, no reading, nothing. I felt too ashamed to even pray. How do you start again without feeling like a hypocrite?
Yeah. First of all, we have to understand that guilt comes from a place of feeling like I'm the controller. Why would guilt come from any other place? Right? Guilt comes when we know we could have done something in one particular way and we did it in another way, which was maybe a wrong decision. We have to first of all understand one, we're all in the hospital, right? Prabhupada said this material world is like a hospital. What does that mean? In the hospital, you'll see somebody's throwing up. You'll see somebody's passing stool on the bed. Somebody is fainting. Somebody is, screaming, shouting in pain. In the hospital, all these scenes are normal. You don't shout at them because he's throwing up, or you don't think that, oh my God, look how much he's throwing up. You don't talk about them like that. Some do it more than the others because they're more sick than the others. We need to understand that each of us here have our own difficulties. We, in our own way, are throwing up some places. We, in our own way, sometimes are passing stool in different places. And all of us have made mistakes. That's what makes you human. You are not perfect. You are human. And human beings, to error is human. We have imperfect senses. We do make mistakes. And that is, it's not something different or unusual that you're doing. And it's not just related to you. Okay, I can understand that you might have made a big blunder. All of us make some blunders. Some make big mistakes, some make small mistakes, but we all make mistakes. There is not one person in this room that can say that never in my life have I made any mistake. Is there anyone in this room? I'd like to see them. No, it's impossible. When we understand that, we lift ourselves. Usually, most of the time, we feel that we are the controllers. I could have controlled it. You know, that's why we were sent to this material world, because we wanted to be controllers. When we realize that, Krishna, I made a mistake, we don't have to become guilty about it. Mistakes should make us humble. Mistakes should remind us that we are human. We're not Hiranyakashipu.
Yes.
Hiranyakashipu with his mistakes was thinking that, oh, if I do this, I will become even more stronger. I can trick. No, with our mistakes, we need to understand it should make us humble. That yes, I am fallen. So if somebody thinks I'm fallen, what's the big thing? Yes, I am fallen. Nothing wrong in your thought process.
Yes.
No, I am fallen. That's fine. It's fine. I'm fallen, but I'm trying to uplift myself. I am
Okay.
trying to uplift myself. Usually, when the heart becomes cold, in guilt, or when we give up the spiritual practice, when the heart becomes cold, our hands quickly warm up. Our hands can quickly warm it up. Why and how? By doing some physical service, by doing something, even if it means playing the harmonium, or if it means learning an instrument, if it means turning the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. I've told some devotees that I've met will completely given up the practice of Krishna consciousness. And I said, don't worry. You don't want to come to the temple? Don't come to the temple. You don't want to listen to anybody? Don't listen. Can you just flip pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Just do that. Can you do that? Yes, I can do that. Okay, do that. While flipping the pages, she happened to read one or two words.
Yes, agree.
By flipping the pages, when she read one or two words, she called me crying. And the problem is that we make the process too complicated. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Even one step, when it's most difficult, we take towards Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with us in many ways. So guilt is not necessary. Humility is necessary. Guilt is a proof that we are trying to be controllers.
Okay.
But humility is a proof that I'm surrendered. Krishna, I tried. Now everything is in your hand. I tried my best. I couldn't do it. You help me. You are Supreme Lord. I'm not Supreme Lord. You help me. When Dhruva
Agree.
Maharaj surrendered like this to Krishna, then the Lord touched the conch shell on his head. And then
Yes.
he started to chant beautiful prayers in Sanskrit when that child could not even open his mouth. So if we think we have the ability and the strength to overcome our difficulties, we're in illusion. It's not possible. We cannot overcome our difficulties. We have to surrender to Krishna.
Okay.
Don't have guilt. But that lesson that you learned, the mistake that you made, should make you humble.
Yes,
And
that's true.
remember, the second thing why Krishna puts difficult situations in our life is that we become sensitive. We become sensitive to anyone else that is going through that difficulty. And then we are able to help them from a place of realizations.
Agree.
And then when you find someone that's going through a similar kind of guilt, you can actually truly guide them, be with them, because you've experienced it in such a deep level and personal level that I was in Chile recently, and one of the devotees was saying that, my mother was sick and nobody called me. And, the devotees, we talk about caring for each other. And she was kind of became really emotional and a little bit erratic to
Mhm.
the point that, she started to cry. But when my mother, it was the most difficult time of my life. Nobody called me. None of these devotees called me. And you're telling me to build relationships with them. So I said, don't forget that they didn't call you. Don't forget that. Why?
Mm.
Because that not forgetting how it felt, you can fill that gap. They didn't call you, but when if somebody else falls sick, you remember how it felt
Yes, agree.
when I was not called. You call them, you fill the gap. Not
Yes.
all gaps are filled in our life. Sometimes we become those fillers.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe you reach out to this anonymous person and find out what is going on in their life, why they are experiencing guilt, and uplift each other, because now you both have realization with each other. You both have that experience of making a mistake or stepping away. If I'm understanding that question properly, Priya
Yes, yes,
Sundari, it was
Mataji.
similar lines. Yeah. So we can fill the gap. And the burden of knowing it all, doing it all right, is too much for us to carry. And it's impossible for us to carry. I make so many mistakes, decision mistakes. I've made so many blunders in my life. I've made wrong decisions, but those decisions don't define me. I learn from them and I rise. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Really appreciate Mataji. It's
Yeah.
really helped me in that question. Plus, even though, like, when you say you invest something on like anything, and then return, you need appreciation at least. Like, not to get that ego kind of attitude. Oh, they appreciate me. Just to you, like when someone appreciate you, you feel uplifting, right? So that's way. But in the return, you're getting some like kind of bad feedback and bad kind of harsh word, and those stays in your heart. How to reveal those ones, how to take out from our heart?
So it is not a one-on-one thing. So it
Yeah.
is not that with this same person you appreciate this person and this person also will appreciate you. It's not you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Doesn't
Yes.
always work like that.
Yeah.
So you can do really nice things for one person, but you can get appreciation from somewhere else. Our point is not getting the appreciation from the same person. It doesn't happen in life.
True.
That balance doesn't happen in life. Some places we are the givers, some places we are the
The
receivers.
receivers. Okay.
And we need to fill our life with all these kinds of people. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of people that are being exploitative of us. It is our responsibility to protect ourselves. We don't have to be Mahatma Gandhi over there that one slap, so you give me on the other slap also. No, there is no need for that. Absolutely no need for that.
Just back off.
No, there is ways of doing things. I don't know the exact situation, but if I were in any such confrontational situation, and I feel that I've tried my best and this person really is not reciprocating with me, then Hare Krishna. That's it. But I don't give them space in my brain. Because what is going to happen when you give them space in your brain? We were talking about the most powerful form of association is through the mind. When we meditate on somebody else's qualities, bad qualities, and we talk about them and we meditate upon them, it is only a matter of time. Sooner or later, you will be doing the same thing. Guaranteed.
Oh,
Because you become what you associate with. Don't give them space in your brain. It's fine. You see them at the temple. If they like to say Hare Krishna, you say Hare Krishna. If they don't want to say Hare Krishna, no problem. Sab
okay.
Bhumi Gopal ki, right? The
That's
whole
true.
world is Gopal ki. So
Yes.
they can coexist with you. It's not you or
Yeah.
them. Let them
Yes. Yeah.
coexist. You
Okay.
cannot take their right from existing. But at the same time, they cannot take your right of existing. You can coexist in the same place.
True.
Just don't give them brain space.
Okay.
Does that help? Maybe you want to check with the anonymous center if she has any follow up.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank you,
submitted
Mataji.
beforehand, so
Okay. Okay.
we will
Sure.
follow up.
Thanks. Yes. No problem.
Thank you so much. I know, like,
Thank you.
we started a little bit late, and we have only a few minutes left to our stipulated time. So it felt like, a breeze. Like, this discussion went on so smoothly and so natural. It doesn't feel like we have spent so much time with each other. But maybe a concluding question, or maybe, like, something we would want to know from you. Maybe a few minutes, perhaps, like, looking back at your own devotional journey. Was there a moment where Krishna taught you the power of grace more than the pursuit of perfection? Or any
Many
example?
moments. Many moments. But I can tell you one thing. When my usually my nature is to get a lot of things done, to do multitasking is my expertise, if I can put it that way. And I like to be involved. You can say one level of FOMO, fear of missing out things, kind of a level of FOMO is there. So when my children were born, I almost felt like everyone is moving ahead and I'm just like stuck somewhere. Especially when my second son was also born, and then I had two toddlers. I felt like everyone is moving ahead and I'm kind of just stuck, not doing anything. So for a period of time, I would say I had to really work on my mindset of actually seeing. And one very beautiful thing that happened is that I went to His Holiness Radhanath Swami, who's my Guru Maharaj, and I said, I feel so like left behind. And he looked at me and he said one thing which I remember my older one is 21 years. So this is some 18 years back or something. He said, if you make a garland today, somebody will appreciate that tomorrow morning. Yes, or it will be offered to Krishna tomorrow morning. But the service that you're doing now by raising your children might take 20, 25 years for somebody to even acknowledge it, leave alone appreciate it. So you're in the game for long run. Yes. So remember that this service has so much potential to nurture and nourish you and teach you so many lessons if you try to perform it to the best of your ability. And when he said that, and with so much conviction, all of a sudden for me, I started to do things that included my children. Like we started the homeschool co-op in New Vrindavan. I started to teach. I started to become more involved with the Sunday school. I started to still do things, but I found avenues to do it with my children. And it just gave me an insight that what really stops us is our mindset. We don't have any physical limitations most of the time. Very, very few people really have physical limitations. Our mind limitations are more dangerous and they obstruct our flow and growth much more. So, working with the mind and working with people that think with clarity, that help you with clarity. Many times, if we are in a situation in our life where we don't know what to do, then just keep that item there or that problem there, walk 5 steps behind and analyze it from a third person's perspective. You will start to gain so much clarity just from doing that, because you're not you're not in the fire and you're not in the heat and the cold of the situation. You've stepped outside of the situation and you're trying to analyze it from a third person's perspective. And then having a friend who can help you do that is even better. Just imagine having a friend that can help you discuss it, having a friend that you can talk to about the same situation. So, strengthening your mind, knowing what's important, is, I think, a very, very powerful way of leading your life and moving forward in spirituality. Maybe we can stop here at that thought, or if anybody
Yes.
has any comments. Or
I guess in the interest of time, I guess we will have to make a stop here, but it definitely feels like we need many more sessions like this. So thank you so much, Mataji, for the depth, honesty, and
absolutely.
warmth that you brought to today's session, and your insights on navigating bhakti with self-compassion rather than perfectionism uh, touched something many of us carry quietly but rarely speak about, right? So the way you wove together scriptures and real life experiences and genuine empathy that made us feel like it's more like it's like it's not even a lecture, it's more like heartfelt conversation that we have between sisters in spiritual life. So thank you so much for everything that you gave
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank you for allowing me to be here, because usually I gain so much more from hearing from others, because it makes me feel I'm not alone. Everybody has the same kind of problems. It's not just me. So we all have the same kind of problems and we all have each other. At least we have each other. And like Prabhupada mentioned, that we may be far away from our goal, but we're in the train.
Mm.
We'll get there. That's reassuring. Yes, that's reassuring. So thank you for allowing me to be here with all of you. And thank you for your questions, your sharing. And let's just try to keep it real. It's our journey, it's our life, it's our practice. Let's keep it real, because there's nothing more attractive to Krishna than genuine practice of Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Thank you so much. On behalf of ISKCON Brampton Vaishnavi Sangha and ISKCON Halifax, I would like to offer our heartfelt gratitude to GovindPriya Mataji for sharing her realizations, and this is definitely going to act as an encouragement to each one of us. And thank you to all the Matajis who joined, participated, submitted question beforehand, and even raised here in while we are talking, and helped making this gathering even more meaningful and insightful. So we pray that today's session and discussion inspires us to continue our devotional journey with a greater faith, compassion, and dependence on Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Vancha
Mataji.
Thank
Kalpatarubhyascha.
you,
Thank you so much,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Prabhupada.
much.
Thank you.
And the Gaudiya Vaishnavanda ki.
Jai.
Srila
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 Prabhupada ki.
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
Jai. Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hari
Krishna.
Bol.